What's up guys, and welcome back to another video here on B Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my official Money in the Bank predictions. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads, and don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get right into the video. As of right now, there have only been 4 matches confirmed for Money in the Bank, but typically WWE does like to do 5 matches on every B tier PLE, so I'm assuming that they're going to add one more match, so I'm going to talk about the 4 matches that have been confirmed, and one match that I think will be announced on Friday. The first match that we have on this Money in the Bank match card is Lara Valkyria defending her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. Now, obviously, this is the rematch from their first match for the Women's IC title that they had back at Backlash. Pretty solid match, but overall, I thought that that was where Becky Lynch was going to win the title. I was 100% convinced that she was going to dethrone Lara Valkyria. If you watch my other videos leading up to Backlash, I was set in stone on Becky winning that title, so I was very surprised when Lara actually retained the title. Obviously, we saw after the match, Becky attack Lara Valkyria, furthering the story between these two. They've honestly had a pretty good story. I think the feud and the build has been really good. It's by far the best feud that the Women's IC title has had, and the Women's Mid-Card title in general between that and the US title over on SmackDown. So props to WWE. They've done a really good job of building this story between Becky and Lara. They've done a good job of just elevating Lara. We're getting to see the real version of Lara Valkyria, like her real self. She's cutting promos in the ring. She's getting better and better each week. She's getting the crowd behind her. So props to WWE and props to Lara Valkyria for doing such an excellent job in this feud. Becky Lynch has also done an amazing job. She's making Lara look very good. She's been that intimidating heel. So this has overall been a really good storyline, but I feel like it has to end here at Money in the Bank. You don't want it to go on too long and be too stale. They could do something where it turns into a trilogy. Maybe they meet at that Evolution PLE or maybe SummerSlam Night of Champions. I'm not sure, but I do 100% think that Becky Lynch wins this match. I don't think that she is going to lose yet again to Lara Valkyria. Obviously, Bayley still has to return from injury. She was taken out by Becky Lynch, so that Becky versus Bayley match is coming soon. I would assume at SummerSlam for that Women's IC title, or maybe at Evolution, because they are 2 of the 4 horsewomen. I think that either of those are possibilities. Obviously, there are some stipulations for this match. If Becky Lynch wins, Lara Valkyria has to raise the hand of Becky Lynch, and if Lara Valkyria wins this match, Becky Lynch can never challenge for the Women's IC title ever again, with Lara holding it, I believe is what she said. So, pretty solid stipulations there, but like I said, overall, I think that Becky Lynch must win this match to have that storyline with Bayley and Becky Lynch that you know is coming soon. Now let's move on to the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The 6 participants in this match are Rhea Ripley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and Stephanie Vaquer. I am super excited for this Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I think it is one of the most unpredictable ladder matches that we have ever seen. I can honestly see all 6 of these women winning this match, which is why I'm super excited for this. You have just elite players in this match like Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss. Then you have young rising stars like Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, Julia. You have Naomi, who just had that heel turn and has been on probably her greatest run in WWE. There's so many possibilities to who can win this match. I'm going to go down the list and tell you guys who I think has the greatest chance. So starting with Rhea Ripley, honestly, Rhea doesn't need to win this match, but I could see WWE doing it. But I think, honestly, she's one of the people that has the least likely amount of chance to win this match. I just absolutely don't think that it fits her character. Like, she's probably the top best wrestler in the women's division, right? Multi-women's champion. Like, she doesn't need the briefcase to earn a title match or to win the title. I think that it should be used for somebody who just, went through a character change or a young superstar, which I'm going to get into. So I think Rhea Ripley definitely does not need to win this briefcase. Moving on to Julia, I wouldn't mind Julia winning the title or winning the Money in the Bank briefcase at all, because she is obviously a young superstar who just got called up from the NXT roster. But I don't think it makes sense right now, and I don't think that they want that, because they are telling us that they're going to do Julia versus Zelina Vega for the Women's US title. They've already teased that a couple of times. So I absolutely don't think that Julia would win the Money in the Bank, because then what? They either chalk that storyline up or she cashes in on the U.S. title. Neither of that's going to happen. Julia, she'll look great in this match, but she's not going to win because they're going to put her in the women's mid-card scene with Zelina Vega. Moving on to Roxanne Perez, I think Roxanne Perez could definitely win this match. She obviously is getting a huge push and introduction to the main roster, being with the Judgment Day, helping out Finn Balor. Like, that's huge. That is huge to come up from NXT and be doing stuff like that. So obviously they're strapping a bit of a rocket to her back. They could take the route that they took with Tiffany Stratton last year. Tiffany got called up, right? She was had a great outing in the Rumble, great outing in the Elimination Chamber, and then she went on to win Money in the Bank. Roxanne Perez, final 2 in the Rumble. She was in the Chamber. Maybe the same thing. Maybe she wins Money in the Bank as well. I think it would be pretty funny if she was able to cash in, become Women's World Champion, and then you have a jealous Liv Morgan, and then you have a Roxanne and Liv feud for the Women's World title. I think that's a huge possibility. Roxanne is one of my favorites to win this match, no doubt. Alexa Bliss, the other one in this match, she has won it in the past. Similarly to Rhea Ripley, I don't think that she needs to win the briefcase just because she's solidified herself as one of the top stars in female wrestling for WWE. So I don't think that the briefcase benefits her. But it's something that they have been teasing a lot, if we're being honest. She's already had, I think, 2 or 3 interactions with Tiffany Stratton, telling her she's going to win the briefcase and cash in. So they've been teasing that quite a little bit. So it could very much happen. But at the end of the day, I don't think Alexa is going to win the briefcase. Then we have Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer just dropped the NXT Women's Championship. She will be competing at Worlds Collide in a match, and in this match, so she's doing double duty on Saturday. I think she could also win this match, just because of how damn over she is with the crowd. Everybody loves Stephanie Vaquer. She was the most over superstar by 1,000 miles in NXT that they had to just bring her up to the main roster immediately. And like I said, I could definitely see her winning this match because the crowd loves her, and like, what a way to introduce her, right? Like, one of her first couple matches in WWE, winning the briefcase, like, how crazy that would be. But I don't think that she will win this match, but I'm giving her a high chance to win it. But there is 2 babyface champions in Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky, so I do think a heel will win this match, so I don't think it will be Stephanie Vaquer. That brings us to the last person in this match, the female wrestler that I think will win this Money in the Bank ladder match, and that is Naomi. Naomi obviously just turned heel a couple months back, leading up to her feud with Jade Cargill at WrestleMania, which was a top-tier feud. They did a really good job of building that. They're still kind of, building that match. Maybe they might lead to another match between Naomi and Jade Cargill. But I think Naomi makes the most sense to win Money in the Bank because her heel character fits the briefcase so much. And obviously Tiffany Stratton, cashing in on Nia Jax, she screwed Naomi in that match, and she screwed Naomi in a lot of other matches because, she was buddy-buddy with Nia Jax. So Naomi cashing in on Tiffany Stratton would be a full circle moment. Like, she could cash in on the person who screwed her so many times, and, it's vice versa now. Naomi's the heel, and Tiffany's the babyface, unlike last time. So I think that makes perfect sense. They've also teased this now a couple times with Naomi cashing in on Tiffany Stratton. So I could absolutely see this happening. And if I'm being honest, I think Naomi is my pick to win this briefcase. It's between Naomi and Roxanne Perez for me, but I think Naomi will win this match. Now, moving on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, we will see LA Knight take on Penta, Solo Sikoa, Andrade, El Grande Americano, and Seth Rollins. This is a little more predictable than the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I think that, in my opinion, there's only one guy that they've built to win this Money in the Bank briefcase. So I'm going to go through all these guys just like I did for the women. Starting with LA Knight. LA Knight's obviously been stuck in the mid-card for quite some time. It is time for him to do something else. So him being in the main event scene makes perfect sense to me. I honestly thought we were going to see an LA Knight John Cena feud for Money in the Bank. That was my prediction in one of my recent videos. We're obviously not getting that. A lot of people want LA Knight to win this briefcase. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't think it's going to happen. I think if he was going to win the briefcase, it should have happened last year or 2 years ago. Last year, it didn't make too much sense because you knew he was going to feud with Logan Paul for the U.S. title. But 2 years ago, it probably made the most sense. At the point, I don't think LA Knight is going to ever win that briefcase. I do think maybe down the line he can become a world champion, but I don't think it's going to be by winning the briefcase. Uh, Similarly to like what I was saying for the female wrestlers, there's two babyface champions, so I think a heel is going to win Money in the Bank. I think the same thing is going to happen here because Jey Uso is a babyface, so I think a heel has to win. Now I know you're thinking, oh, John Cena's a heel, so a babyface can cash in on John Cena. That's not happening. The only person that's taking that title away from John Cena is Cody Rhodes. I don't see them going through any different route. And if it's not Cody, it's CM Punk, who's not in this match. So I don't think LA Knight has any chance of winning this. Solo Sikoa. I think Solo has the second highest odds to win this Money in the Bank ladder match. Obviously he's feuding, he's going to be feuding with Jacob Fatu. Obviously they're building that tension between them with JC Mateo. I'm assuming at SummerSlam is when we're going to see Solo versus Jacob Fatu. So that's the reason I'm kind of not thinking Solo Sikoa is going to win this match. I think it would be pretty funny if Roman Reigns did return at Money in the Bank to take out Seth Rollins, and then Solo Sikoa wins the briefcase, and then Roman accidentally causes Solo, his like former arch nemesis, to win the briefcase, and then you kind of have that little moment of Roman looking up at the ladder, seeing Solo holding the briefcase. I could see that happening because then Solo cashing in on his brother Jey Uso could be another big storyline. But I'm not necessarily sold on thinking that's gonna happen. Penta, love Penta. He's going to have some great moments in this match, jumping off ladders probably. But let's be honest, Penta is just not a main event guy. I'm not saying he can't get to that point, but I just don't think he's there now. So I don't see him winning this match at all. Same thing with Andrade. Andrade is not a main event guy. And to be honest, I really don't know why he even beat Jacob Fatu and Carmelo Hayes to advance here. I like Andrade. Super great wrestler. I think they should be focusing on him in the mid-card scene with the U.S. title. I think that he was in catering for like way too long. He was never on TV. Then all of a sudden he comes back and they put him in this Money in the Bank match. I don't think that makes too much sense. I think Carmelo Hayes made way more sense, or Jacob Fatu if they wanted to further the story of Jacob and Solo by having them both in this match. But in my opinion, Andrade is probably the least believable person to win this match. So same as Penta, I don't think Andrade has a chance. El Grande Americano. Another guy I think was the wrong pick for this match. I would have loved to see CM Punk in this match because I would have actually believed CM Punk had a chance to win and cash in on John Cena because they're obviously teasing Cena versus Punk happening soon. So maybe, Punk cashes in on John Cena. Like, I could have seen that happening. Even like AJ Styles, it would have been cool. I don't think I would have believed AJ Styles could have won it, but AJ Styles is the main event guy. So I think that's a little more believable than El Grande Americano, a guy who's gimmick is slowly dying. I'm seeing a lot of people frustrated because they don't like the gimmick anymore. They think it's gone cold, it's too boring. I'm kind of in agreement. I think that it kind of needs to end. I said this in a previous video. I think that it ends when Rey Mysterio comes back. I think whenever Rey comes back from injury, but I don't know when that's going to be. I think he'll unmask El Grande to beat Chad Gable. But like I said, that could be a year from now. I'm not sure how severe his injury is. But El Grande, in my opinion, has no chance of winning this, just as Penta and Andrade. He's not a main event guy. He's just been involved in like goofy kind of storylines. Him having that briefcase would make absolutely zero sense. Now that brings me to the final person in this match and who I think will win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and that is Seth freaking Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is the only legitimate person in this match to win this briefcase. I don't really, like I said, Solo has a little bit of a chance, but I think Rollins ultimately takes this briefcase. I like the idea of the Money in the Bank going to a young rising superstar like we've seen in previous years. Seth Rollins is not a young rising superstar whatsoever, and he's already won the briefcase. He's already established a Hall of Fame career, multi-time world champion. He obviously doesn't need the briefcase, but he's been the only one that they've built to win this briefcase. Like, they've already teased, him cashing in on Jey Uso. They haven't teased anybody else. So in my opinion, it's Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is definitely winning this match at Money in the Bank. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker will probably allow him to do so. They'll probably get involved in this match. I wouldn't doubt it. And then, obviously, Seth Rollins is going to cash in on Jey Uso. I don't think he'll cash in on John Cena because they haven't built that. So I think Seth Rollins cashing in on Jey Uso either the night of Money in the Bank when Jey Uso's involved in the tag match or the night after when he takes on Gunther. I think either of those nights, Seth Rollins will cash in and become new World Heavyweight Champion. I really hope that they don't repeat what they did last year with Drew McIntyre being screwed by CM Punk out of the briefcase. Please, for the love of God, WWE, do not screw us out of the Money in the Bank once again. I don't care if, Seth doesn't hold the briefcase for a long time, although I wouldn't mind that. But as long as we get a successful cash in, I will be happy. But like I said, I think Seth Rollins will cash in, become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And then I think later down the line, which I'm kind of hyped for, is if they repeat what they did last year at Crown Jewel, which is the World Heavyweight Champion versus WWE Champion. What if we got Seth Rollins versus John Cena? Because Seth Rollins is trying to be the future of WWE, right? Like him and the stable, they are solidifying the future of WWE, of the industry. John Cena, meanwhile, is trying to ruin wrestling and take the WWE title home. So I think that would be like a perfect storyline that they could do for Crown Jewel. I know they're both heels at the time. To be honest, I don't give a damn. I would still be here for that storyline, and I hope that they do that. But like I said, I think Seth Rollins will win this Money in the Bank ladder match, and I think he will cash in on Jey Uso either the night of Money in the Bank or the Monday Night Raw after. A bonus match that I'm going to add for Money in the Bank is a Fatal 5-Way Tag Team match between the Wyatt Six, Fraxium, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the champions, the Street Profits. I would assume that this would be the fifth and final match on this Money in the Bank match card if they do add another match, because there isn't any other storyline on SmackDown that is being built for a match. So, like I said, I would absolutely love this match between all five of these men. They've built the SmackDown tag division so well, just keeping all of these tag teams intertwined. I know they've taken out like Pretty Deadly, we haven't seen them in a while, and then Los Garzas, they've got their own storyline. But the fact that we still have all these tag teams, like, it shows you how good the SmackDown tag division is. I just wish Raw could be this good. But as for who would win this match, I don't think it would be DIY or Motor City Machine Guns. They're obviously former champions. Don't think that they're ready to put the belts on them. I think there's three tag teams that could win this match. First one being Fraxium, because they just got called up. They've obviously already pinned the Street Profits, and they're obviously, in my opinion, and I don't think it's a debate, they're the best tag team in the world. So I wouldn't mind if they put the tag team titles on them, but I don't think that that's going to happen. As for the Street Profits retaining the title, I could absolutely see that happening. They didn't win the titles too long ago, a little before WrestleMania, but they've had an excellent title run, in my opinion. They have banger match after banger match, so I could definitely see them retaining these titles. But I do think that the Wyatt Six will become new tag team champions, and I think it's going to be Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. I know, obviously, we could see Uncle Howdy, maybe Eric Rowan, but in my opinion, I think Eric Rowan's more of like the enforcer of this group and the veteran. And then obviously Uncle Howdy is the leader of the group, so don't think I would, could see him being in the tag division. I don't think that would make too much sense. So I think it's going to be Gacy and Loomis. They obviously have a good chemistry as a tag team. Like, we've seen them do that little powerbomb move. So I definitely think that they could win these titles at Money in the Bank, and I think that they will. Like, I'm going to predict that they will win this match, just because they just got reintroduced to SmackDown, right? They just made their shocking return after all these months. I just hope WWE does a better job booking them this time around. I like that they're throwing them into the tag division, giving them something else to do. So I could definitely see them winning these titles. And then, maybe Uncle Howdy goes after a title of his own. I'm not too sure, but I do think that we will see new tag team champions come Money in the Bank if this match gets announced, being the Wyatt Six. And finally, that brings us to the main event of Money in the Bank, which is the tag team match between the team of Logan Paul and John Cena versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. A lot of people are not happy with this match because they wanted the world titles being defended on Money in the Bank. Obviously, short time to build a feud for a world title between Saturday night's main event and Money in the Bank. That's why they're doing this. I think it'll be a solid match. I don't think it's going to be anything groundbreaking. Little confused of why it's main eventing over the ladder match, but the reason it could be main eventing over the ladder match is because we could potentially see a cash in, or maybe an attempted cash in. Like I said, I think Seth is either going to cash in either in this match or Monday Night Raw after, which I think it's going to happen on Raw, just to clarify. But as for what goes on in this match, I don't really know too much. I think that Cody and Jey are going to win. I know John Cena is the WWE champion, so a lot of people are going to think, he's obviously going to win because he's going to continue to ruin wrestling. But I think with Cody returning after, a month, I think, after losing the title at WrestleMania, I think that they have to build him back up. And so I think that he has to win this match. I actually think Cody Rhodes is going to pin John Cena in this match. I think that to further build the storyline between Cody and John Cena, because if we're being honest, they're probably going to have a rematch at SummerSlam, or just pretty soon. So I think Cody Rhodes is going to pin John Cena in this match to get one up on him and set up that big match, probably the main event of Night 2 SummerSlam. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment down below what you guys want to see in future videos from me. Alright guys, peace.